Before the judges even knew his name, the room felt different. The lights were bright, the crowd restless, but there was a strange hush in the air, as if everyone sensed that something unforgettable was about to happen. And right there, standing alone at the center of the America's Got Talent stage, was a quiet Filipino man in a simple outfit, hands slightly trembling, carrying a dream that had crossed oceans. Before this story ends, you'll understand why the judges rushed the golden buzzer and why moments like this remind us never to give up. If stories like this move your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because this journey is one you'll want to remember. His name was barely announced when a few skeptical smiles appeared in the audience. Another Elvis tribute? People had seen many before. Some were good. Most were forgettable. But this man didn't walk like he was trying to imitate a legend. He walked like someone who had lived with music as his only companion through hardship. His accent was gentle, his voice humble as he introduced himself, sharing that he came from a small town in the Philippines where dreams often feel too big for the streets they're born on. He spoke about working long hours, about singing not for fame but to survive emotionally, about how Elvis Presley's songs had given him strength when life felt unbearable. As the judges asked why he came to AGT, his eyes watered. He said he came for his family, for his parents who sacrificed everything, and for every person back home who was told that dreams are only for other people. The audience leaned in. This wasn't confidence wrapped in ego. This was hope wrapped in fear. When the music cue began, a familiar Elvis melody filled the theater, but what happened next stopped time. The first note came out soft, controlled, and honest. Not an impression, not a parody, but a soul speaking through a voice shaped by years of struggle. As he sang, the room transformed. The judges' expressions changed from curiosity to disbelief. His tone carried the warmth of classic Elvis, but there was something deeper underneath, a quiet pain, a longing, a story. Each lyric felt lived in, as if he wasn't performing for applause but confessing his life through music. Flashbacks of his past seemed to unfold through the song. A young boy singing into a cracked mirror in a tiny home. Neighbors laughing, some encouraging, others mocking. Nights without electricity where he sang in the dark just to feel less alone. Days when he chose between chasing music or choosing stability, and nights when he wondered if giving up would be easier. Elvis wasn't just his idol, Elvis was his escape. Midway through the performance, the crowd erupted. People stood without realizing they were standing. A judge's hand hovered near the desk, eyes wide. Another judge whispered, "This is special." His voice soared, not louder, but braver. Every note carried gratitude, for being heard, for being seen, for being there at all. Tears rolled down faces in the audience, and even the camera caught judges blinking hard, trying to hold back emotion. When the final note faded, there was a split second of silence, the kind that only happens when everyone is overwhelmed. Then the theater exploded. Cheers thundered from every corner. The Filipino singer stood frozen, unsure if what he felt was real. He bowed his head, hands shaking now not from fear, but from disbelief. The judges stood. One by one. Applause turned into a roar. One judge walked closer, voice cracking, saying this wasn't just a performance, it was history. Another spoke about authenticity, about how rare it is to see someone honor a legend without hiding behind them. They talked about courage, about how this man didn't come to copy Elvis, but to bring Elvis into his own story. And then it happened. Almost instinctively, the judges moved at once. There was laughter through tears, shock through joy, and before the singer could even process their words, hands slammed down. The golden buzzer lit up the stage in a burst of gold. Confetti rained from above like a miracle made visible. The audience screamed. The man dropped to his knees, overwhelmed, crying openly now, covering his face as years of doubt washed away in a single moment. He whispered thank you over and over, thinking of his family watching from thousands of miles away, thinking of the nights he almost quit, thinking of every voice that told him he wasn't enough. In that moment, the golden buzzer wasn't just a pass to the next round. It was validation. It was proof that talent knows no borders, that dreams don't need permission, and that sometimes the world really does listen. Backstage, he spoke about calling his parents, about wanting to inspire kids back home who feel invisible. He said if his voice could open one door, maybe others would walk through it too. The judges later said they felt something rare, a reminder of why they fell in love with music in the first place. As the episode ended, viewers around the world shared the clip, not just because of the golden buzzer, but because they saw themselves in him. They saw the fear of starting, the pain of waiting, the courage of stepping forward anyway. This wasn't just a Filipino Elvis making AGT history. This was a human being reminding us that belief can change everything. If this story touched your heart, let it be a sign. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Because somewhere right now, someone is standing quietly with a dream, waiting for the courage to sing their first note. And as this moment proved, when they do, the world might just stop and listen. The moment he stepped onto the stage, something felt unfinished in the air, like a story that had been waiting years to be told. Before a single note was sung, before a single judge leaned forward, the audience felt it in their chests. This wasn't just another audition. This was a man standing at the edge of his destiny. And before this story ends, you'll see why the judges didn't hesitate, why they rushed the golden buzzer, and why this moment changed AGT history forever. If stories like this give you chills, take 1 second right now to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because what you're about to witness is proof that dreams never expire. He stood there quietly, a Filipino man with kind eyes and a nervous smile, wearing clothes that spoke more of humility than showbiz. When he introduced himself, his voice trembled, not from weakness, but from the weight of years carried silently. He told the judges he came from the Philippines, from a place where opportunities are few and responsibilities arrive early. Music, he said, was never a plan. It was survival. Elvis Presley became his guide during the darkest nights, a voice that reminded him he wasn't alone when the world felt too heavy. Some people in the audience smiled politely, already thinking they knew what was coming. Elvis tributes had walked this stage before. But this man wasn't here to copy a legend. He was here to honor him through his own pain, his own hope. When asked what winning would mean, he paused, swallowing hard. He said it would mean everything, not for him alone, but for his family, for his parents who worked endlessly, and for the millions back home who were told that big dreams don't belong to small places. Then the music began. The first note didn't shout. It whispered. And somehow, that whisper silenced the entire theater. His voice carried the familiar warmth of Elvis, but layered with something raw: years of sacrifice, rejection, and quiet endurance. Each lyric felt personal, as if he had lived inside the song rather than rehearsed it. The judges' faces changed almost instantly. Curiosity turned into shock. Shock turned into emotion. As he sang, it felt like his life unfolded through the melody. A young boy singing in cramped rooms while neighbors laughed. Long workdays followed by sleepless nights, clinging to music as the only place where he felt free. Moments when he nearly gave up, when logic told him to stop dreaming, but something deep inside refused to let go. Elvis wasn't just an idol. Elvis was a promise that pain could turn into power. The song grew stronger, not louder, but braver. His confidence rose not from technique, but from truth. The audience leaned forward, some already wiping tears. One judge's hand hovered near the desk. Another judge's eyes filled with disbelief. This wasn't just good. This was unforgettable. By the final chorus, the room felt electric. People stood without realizing they had stood. The last note rang out, trembling with emotion, then faded into silence. For one breathless moment, no one moved. And then the eruption came. The crowd exploded into cheers. The judges jumped to their feet. Applause crashed like thunder. The man on stage looked stunned, his face frozen between joy and disbelief. One judge spoke first, voice shaking, saying they had just witnessed something rare, something real. Another judge talked about authenticity, about how honoring Elvis is easy, but honoring yourself through Elvis is extraordinary. Before he could even process their words, everything happened at once. The judges rushed. Hands slammed down. The golden buzzer ignited the stage in a flood of gold. Confetti poured from above like a blessing. The audience screamed. The man fell to his knees, overwhelmed, sobbing openly as years of doubt finally broke apart. He covered his face, shaking, whispering thank you again and again.